Hey everyone, how's it going? Kakuna is one of the worst Pokemon to do a solo run with. In most Pokemon games, Kakuna literally just knows Harden, which doesn't do any damage, and it has one of the worst stat totals in Pokemon history. It is my goal to try and beat a Pokemon game with every single one of the generation Pokemon not using items. And I thought the newest Pokemon game, Legends ZA, with its unique battle system and bigger move pool for Kakuna, may be the game where it finally could get that victory. Now, I understand a lot of my regular viewers like the older Pokemon games and maybe don't know much about this whole Legends ZA nonsense. So I hope if nothing else, you'll allow me to introduce you to this game. It's interesting, and show you how I plan to beat the entirety of it with just a Kakuna. But first, a big thank you to a huge supporter of the channel and sponsor of today's video, Boot.dev. So for those of you who are not caught up on the Boot.dev lore, Boot.dev is a training program where you can learn back-end web development in multiple languages. I had been doing some Python stuff. I'm actually very close to done, but the course is getting really difficult and I didn't want to make too many mistakes, which is okay because you can do that. But today I'm going to be learning SQL. One of the big reasons I really like Boot.dev is, unlike other courses I've done in the past, this is really interactive with direct feedback. And I gotta say, I really do appreciate Boots, the AI, that when I mess up, yes, I can just get the solution. They allow you to do that, but I would much rather see why I've done something wrong. And Boots is actually really good at walking me through the process. Sometimes the mistakes are really silly, like this one was a really silly mistake, but other times it's a bit more complicated, and I learn from interacting with Boots. One thing I really appreciate about Boot.dev is that they're not only adding new courses. There's this new course right now in February, data visualization with Power BI. Don't know what it is, but that could be good. But they're also updating existing courses and making changes to make them even better. I really appreciate Boot.dev. If you want to start Boot.dev, well, I've got great news for you. Like always, I got a great promo code. And so if you go to Boot.dev and use the code JRose11, well, you can get 25% off your first plan, and that can be an entire year if you choose the annual plan. All right, first things first, I have to say this. One of the worst things about this game is it takes forever to actually do anything. Pokemon has really loved its long tutorials, and this game is just, okay, it's got a long tutorial. While we watch some clips from moments in the tutorial, let me talk about how this run is going to work and also how this game works. So the way this game works is it's a plot-based game. You do missions and you advance the story forward. There aren't gyms, but there are major battles, and we'll talk about those. The way the run is going to work is, as soon as possible, I'm going to catch a Kakuna and then not use any other Pokemon in battle. The only Pokemon I'm allowed to use is Kakuna. Now, this game is radically different in that it has, let's call it, a semi-real-time battle system. What does that look like? Well, actually, let's just skip ahead. It takes 44 minutes to catch Kakuna, and most of that is just tutorial nonsense. By the way, you get a grass starter. I picked Chikorita, and yeah, in older games, I know how to use a Game Shark to modify the game. Not on the Switch too, so I just had to catch Kakuna normally, but that's okay. Now let me show you how battling actually works. It's cool that a lot of battles there is no battle screen, but essentially what I'm going to do is select a move, and then you'll see there is a cooldown timer. Kakuna knows 3 moves: Harden, String Shot, and Poison Sting. It actually learns Poison Sting as a Kakuna, which is kind of neat. Now, you may notice something. We don't do a lot of damage to the Bellsprout, and it takes Poison Sting a little bit of time to recharge. That's because the game isn't meant to be played like this. You're supposed to be swapping in Pokemon, using fire and flying Pokemon, not Poison Sting Kakuna. Now, thankfully, Bellsprout's only attacking move is Vine Whip, so it's not going to do very much damage to me. You should also note that I don't directly control where Kakuna goes. All I can do is use the face buttons, in this case Y, to select Poison Sting, and then Kakuna will move into position. I can reposition Kakuna by moving my character, but at no point do I actually directly control Kakuna itself. So that's why Kakuna is kind of moving around, and thus I kind of call this a semi-real-time battle system. There are still kind of turns in an abstract sense, but yeah, if this looks really boring, it is, but don't worry, it's gonna get a bit better. I have to beat 3 trainers in order to advance the plot forward, and the second trainer has a Bunnelby, which gave me a lot of problems, but A, you can actually sneak up and like Paper Mario get a first strike, but also not only does the strike do more damage, but it also poisoned. So here's the thing about how poison works in this game. You'll see that the Bunnelby's health is slowly but surely gradually decreasing. So even though I can attack, I also am just winning by doing nothing. I can theoretically just run away and let the Bunnelby faint. Now, it would take a very long time, and actually, for whatever reason in this game, poison moves do more damage to poison Pokemon, which is kind of cool. Fletchling, though, is kind of scary, it being a flying-type Pokemon. We do poison it, and here you're going to see me try to dodge moves. So, I have to dodge Peck as best I can, and you can see I'm trying to awkwardly run in this very cramped area I'm in, try to get Fletchling to waste Peck. Unfortunately, it's got a massive hitbox, and although I come close, I actually lose this battle. However, after battling the third trainer I needed to beat, I actually just went in the wrong order. I get the poison on Fletchling. I think it's still a 20% chance, which is kind of not bad. I use Harden. In these games, power up and power down moves are on a time limit. So you'll see on the left that my attack is lowered, my defense is rising, and then it'll start flashing. The same thing is true of Fletchling with its speed. Speed, by the way, I believe affects recharge. I'm not actually sure exactly how speed works. Either way, you can actually see how being at a slightly higher level made a massive difference, and we were able to beat Fletchling. Hooray! So if you're wondering why this game is called Legends EA, there was a tournament where you go from rank Z to rank A. And we're about to do our rank Z promotion battle. Here's Zach, the trainer we need to battle. I have a great feeling about this. Oh, it's a Slowpoke. Well, it's okay. I'm sure my Kakuna will be more than able to take down this Slowpoke. I mean, it's slow. Oh, Confusion did quite a lot. Well, that's okay. See, I can... Oh, I didn't avoid the water gun. Well, that's all right. Just poison it. We're fine. Confusion? Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't look like I avoided that. And all right. Well, yeah, this isn't going well. We almost have it down to a quarter damage. Great sign, right? Thankfully, leveling up in this game is, well, depending on how much you want to level up, easy. We're going to use a couple of methods. And one of them is battling trainers, but the other are these research tasks. Now, I don't want to get too into the weeds of this, but essentially, you have to catch Pokemon of certain types. There are wild zones that have just set Pokemon, and if you catch every Pokemon, you get research points. And doing all these things yields rewards, some of them being experience point candies. And so right now, I'm just going and catching. I actually only have access to the very first research zone, Zone 1. So there's a lot of research tasks I'm not going to be able to do. By the way, like in modern Pokemon games, catching Pokemon gives you just a little bit of experience points. One annoying thing I should mention is that in the early game, until like a couple more major battles from now, the game will just be like, oh yeah, you want to go up this ladder? No, you should be going and doing the battle. Why aren't you doing the battle? It's because I'm not good enough. Like here, all right, I want to exit the zone and I want to go up this ladder and catch Flabebe and Abra. That would help my research request for fairy types. It would help by catching a psychic type. Easy peasy, right? Nope, can't do that. It's the most irritating thing in the universe to have what is supposed to be an open world game, but then gated off in the most obnoxious and arbitrary way. For the record, in about, let's say an hour of game time, that restriction completely goes away and you can pretty much go wherever you want. But yeah, I didn't know that. I actually could have gone to both those locations before I got in this battle. And while on my mini-map, you might see that other wild zones are available, just like trying to go up that ladder, if I proceed too far, I will get an annoying message from Tawny saying, "Why are you going this far?" So sadly, my only option is to just fill up some research tasks by catching all the Pokemon in Zone 1. And sadly, this is going to be very time consuming because a lot of them require me to catch like 25 normal Pokemon, which, yeah, it's not very easy to do. Thankfully, there's plenty of items and other things on the ground, so I don't really have to worry about running out of money like in a traditional Pokemon game. And so I can get Pokeballs and just keep catching Pokemon. But yeah, this process took an incredibly long time. About 40 minutes, but at this point, I'm actually in my bag looking for the candy, which I don't have because I have to actually check that I completed the research. But Mabel just gave me 10 experience point candy S's. And so I'm going to give that to my level 12 Kakuna, and it will level up to level 21. Not bad at all. And now let's look how this ranked battle versus Zach goes. Well, now at level 21, Poison Sting, one hit of Poison Sting did more than I did in the entire battle. Also, I'm doing a little bit of a better job avoiding moves. Frankly, when they're so underleveled, I don't actually have to avoid them badly. There also are plenty of berries on the ground, such as Oran berries, which I can equip and use, but in the end, Kakuna just was a little overleveled, and frankly, this is not uncommon in any early game Pokemon game. With potions and other items, this could have happened much earlier, but I want to do this without items. I think it's going to be possible. And hey, we've made it to rank Y with just Kakuna. Not bad, right? Skipping ahead another 11 minutes, there is another battle. It's not what I consider a major battle, but it's still not the easiest. We're nearing the end of the pure tutorial where we're actually going to be able to access the entire map. And once we are able to access the entire map, we're going to be able to get a move that is so good in this game. I should also note that I'm not going to often show you these things I'm doing, but there's a lot of collectibles and other things you can do in the overworld that, while a little bit of time wasty in the present, can be huge in the future. And one of those things are by getting power-ups for your Pokemon, which you need by getting these colorful screws. You'll see what they are in just a second. Most of them are on these scaffolds. You can access a lot of them right off the bat, but some of them require a power-up you get a little bit later on. There are these purple, they look like Master Balls, so you find them all throughout the world. There's actually 2 in this area. And part of why my playthrough is going to take so long is I need to make sure I get these. Now, the power-ups aren't going to help me in battle, but they will help me gain more experience, which will make things a little quicker. And they'll help with something else we'll talk about in a few minutes that will be super important. But yeah, thankfully they're pretty easy to see. But there's a lot of just exploring, finding items. There's also like rare candies and other experience candies on the ground. So there's a lot of time just running around collecting stuff. It's a little tedious, but I'm going to be honest with you. I grew up in the 90s. I love collectathons, so I actually don't hate this. But in all my exploring and doing all the random stuff in the overworld, there was one specific area I needed to get to right here in the blue sector. I need to talk to this NPC who gives me TM 101 Electro Web. This TM in standard Pokemon is still good for Kakuna. It's a move. But you guys have no idea how amazingly powerful this move is with the new mechanics of Legends ZA. Let me show you. To advance the plot, I need to do some side missions, by the way. These are usually optional, but these first 3 are not. And one of them involves me battling a Sableye, which I actually can catch. But watch what happens when I use Electro Web. The Electro Web does damage, but then it just stays. And watch what's about to happen. The Sableye gets hit again. For the record, I had not used Electro Web up to this point, and once I saw that, I had an idea. As long as I manipulate the AI's Pokemon to kind of stay still, I don't have to worry as much about recharging. My Electro Webs will just keep consecutively hitting. I wasn't sure exactly how long they stay on the field, but fairly long. Well, no better time than the present. This really ends the tutorial after you battle Emma. And even though she's using a Mareep, an electric Pokemon, I have a feeling Electroweb can be really useful. I mean, I really only have 2 attacks, and sadly, these are the only 2 attacks I'm gonna get. I go Poison Sting first, and then I decide to use Electroweb. It doesn't seem like it does much damage. Oh no, Mareep, come back. Come back, Mareep. So I'm gonna try and move, and yeah, that's not doing bad damage. That's not bad at all. I actually kind of like that. So I just have to alternate between Poison Sting, and look, the Electroweb, it did a great job, and that was a resisted. That was, I think, 2 or 3 extra hits. And look at that, I'll level up. I mean, yes, I'm rank Y, and I need to go all the way to rank A eventually, but hey, maybe Poison Sting with Poison, Electroweb, and learning how to dodge attacks. Maybe I'll do it, right? So I should mention kind of how you advance ranks. It is all plot-based. You can't just go at your own pace. In that sense, it's not like Scarlet and Violet. However, one of the things you need to do is go into these battle zones, which appear, there's a day-night system, and at night they appear. And then in these battle zones, you have to get a certain number of points, which are done based on challenges. You find them on the ground. It's not really important. What is important is these battles are quite a bit easier than the more difficult battles I'm going to show you. And I mean, just look how great Electroweb does here. It's fantastic. How many battles you need to do to max out your points depends on a bunch of factors. And because we don't have a lot of moves and different types, it can take a while. But you can see here that it took me 5 battles to get the 3,000 points. And now I can advance the plot forward by doing the promotion battle. I can still battle other trainers, gain more XP. Thankfully, at this point, the game is almost entirely open to me. So if I ever get stuck, there are usually a bunch of things I can do to try and make things easier for myself. But that's basically the way the game works. There's going to be some plot stuff, tons of talking, and then you're going to have to get the points and the ticket, get your promotion match, win, rinse, and repeat. I should also mention that the more battles you win in one of these sessions, the more money you get. You don't get the money right away, actually. They award you at the end of the night, and there's a multiplier based on how many trainers you beat. So this is a pretty good way to grind money, especially in the early game. Anyway, the rank Y boss, let's call it, is Ivonne, the office worker. She is a Spritzy, and this is going to be pretty easy because Poison Sting is super effective. And then combining that with my Electroweb, it's just not fair. I take her Pokemon down easily. The final one's a Vivian. And yeah, she uses Light Screen, but it doesn't take me long at all. I don't really even have to try. Yes, I should say that at this point, I am definitely a little over-leveled. That first battle versus Zach was difficult. And right now, I'm a little bit above the level curve, which is to be expected when you use a Kakuna in any Pokemon game. But hey, I'm not complaining. I will say that the more I level up early, the less leeway I have later, but I feel like I'm learning important lessons about Poison, Electroweb. It could help me going forward, right? Like, I really think we can do this. This game loves rivals. It's kind of like Generation 6 in that way. And so I battle Naveen next. We can kind of speed through this battle, but this battle is definitely a little bit more difficult than the one I did. Still, as of now, Kakuna is having a pretty easy time, albeit we're just battling pre-evolved Pokemon. I'm not going to show you every battle zone, by the way, although I do have to keep doing this, but they do get more difficult and the Pokemon get better, but overall, they're not too bad, and you can kind of cherry pick the trainers you want to fight. So far, things have been going really smoothly, and then we battle Zavi, I don't know. I'm just going to call him Zavi. But, oh boy, do things not go well here. The first Pokemon is a Venipede, which isn't great, and it uses Spikes. Now, Spikes works a lot like my Electroweb, in that if I stand on it, it damages me. Thankfully, if you see, the Venipede, let's rewind that. The Venipede crawls back because of the way the weird AI pathing works, and hits the Electroweb. But here comes Kadabra. Great Pokemon, goes for Reflect. I'm just outside the Spikes. It goes for Psybeam. Yikes. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Psybeam actually can't be dodged. It just hones in on wherever your Pokemon is. I mean, if it can, I've never done it. Let me also say, this is not my first playthrough of this game. It's my first playthrough with Kakuna, but I've played through this game before, so I have a vague, albeit casual understanding of how a lot of the moves work, how some moves can be dodged, some moves can't, some moves are ranged, some moves require a lot of recharge. I am aware of kinda how a lot of stuff works, and to this point, I have never been able to dodge a psychic attack. I've tried. Even after using some vitamins and whatnot, I didn't have enough HP, and once again, you just lose. I try a third time, and I mean, this time, Psybeam doesn't one-shot me, but it doesn't do me much good because it just uses confusion. Both of these moves are super effective, neither of which I can really dodge, and sadly, I'm gonna have to do something I didn't want to do, which is level up. Now, there's many ways I can go about doing this. I can catch Pokemon, do battle zones, or I can complete research tasks, because if I get enough research, one of the rewards is 10 medium candies. Now, this requires a ton of research, so I'd have to do a ton of catching Pokemon, but I kind of like catching Pokemon, so I wasn't totally opposed to doing that. You can see here as I'm leveling up my research that actually if you can just pause and rewind, just in the distance, barely legible underneath Mabel's text, you can see at level 25, I get 10 experience M candies. And so I just need to go catch more Pokemon, complete the routes, catch Pokemon of certain types, and yes, you can catch like 50 Bunnelbees to get your 50 normal Pokemon. It's inefficient, but you can do that. Pick up these screws to get more experience. Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't traded any in yet. I'll show you what that looks like. So about 10 minutes from what you've just seen, here is Racine Construction, and you can just trade with this guy. So you actually get a red canary plush right away. So I can get level 2, which costs 5 screws. And then there is, actually, I'm just going to max out experience since I kind of need that. But there's also blue, which makes catching Pokemon a little easier. Gold, which gives you a little bit more money. Pink, which I haven't talked about these, but there's Mega Shards. We can't use them yet because we haven't unlocked the way to trade them in, but you can get more of them. And finally, green, which allows your character to survive longer. You haven't really seen why that's important yet, but trust me, you will. I want to be upfront in saying that I don't know if going for the Experience Candy M is the best idea, but I do like playing this game, and you get to do fun things like catch Pokemon, evolve them. Like every modern Pokemon game, Pokemon that are in your party, even if they're not actively battling, still gain experience points. And since I do a lot of battling and catching, which also gives experience points, I'm able to level things up and evolve them. With all this said, it is taking forever, so even before I got my medium candies, I wanted to see if at level 40, battling Zavi would work. And, I mean, it's going better. In fact, I even make it past Kadabra to the third Pokemon, Roselia. Sadly, there's still one Pokemon after that, and I actually forgot to deposit all my Pokemon. Like other modern Pokemon games, you don't have to go to a box in order to do it. You simply can just deposit Pokemon. Actually, I'll just show you. You can just deposit Pokemon at any time. And I did try again by using a berry, thinking maybe that would help, and it went a little bit better. I was able to make it to the final Pokemon for Fru, which instantly knocked me out. So sadly, it's back to research for me. I'm just so upset I'm just gonna sit on this bench. I'm kidding. That's actually one of the research tasks, is to sit on benches. And also, it's a way to gain friendship in this game. And so, funny enough, my Cleffa is now going to evolve into Clefairy, which is one of the research tasks, evolving Pokemon. And using stones is a research task. So, combining everything together, exactly what I should be doing. Now, one of the reasons that doing modern Pokemon runs isn't always my favorite is that I'm doing these in real time. These are extremely time-consuming to do. But it is cool to play something different. I'm enjoying this for now. Finally, after a few hours of doing this, I've gone my research to level 25. I have 10 medium candies, which takes my level from 41 all the way up to 46. Of course, by doing everything I'm doing, not only can I get other candies, which you can get by defeating the powerful alpha Pokemon. Sadly, the ones I can defeat right now won't give me medium candies, which I'd like. You can also see I've collected some rare candies, so I actually have a lot of options right now. And I think beating Zavi or Zavi or whatever his name is will be easy. That said, this is like the 3rd ranked battle, and I'm already halfway to level 100, so yikes. But we'll worry about that later. So now you can just see how much more damage I do. 1 Electro Web knocks it out. Unfortunately, I stayed on the spikes a little too long. But now, look at this. The Electro Web that was already out combined with the Poison Sting. Basically one shot. Roselia can't actually do all that much damage to me. I just have to be careful. See, I got too close to the spikes. That's what I don't want to do, but I have Citrus Berry, and I knocked it out before it was able to use its Sleep Powder. So now Frou is here, and you can see, watch, Frou is going to... Oh, it isn't going to. I thought it's going to run. Yeah, there it does. Right back into the Electro Web. Stay there, and I don't know if it's my new Electro Web or the old one, but what a great move. Okay, I'm actually only at level 47. I didn't use the rare candies, so I'm not quite at level 50 yet, but this took a long time. Also, I got a haircut. I look great. Just no notes, 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, fun fact, one of the side missions, this girl, Monte, says she's training up the best team of Kakuna the world has ever seen. Watch how this goes. Yep, great team of Kakuna you got there. Mine's no match. All right, my next promotion match is against Rintaro, and he uses the 3 elemental monkeys. I have a pretty good matchup against those, and I'm at level 50, you can see. Actually, Protect is pretty cool in this game. It works as kind of a block. I really love it. There's so many cool things about this game, in theory. In practice, I feel like they were a little underutilized, but hey, when we're using a Kakuna, we really get to appreciate stuff. Also, watch, Simisear blocked both, I think, the damage and the chip damage. However, it can't help itself. It has to go back to its trainer, which doesn't move, and walks right into Electro Web. It's so funny. And then Simipour, I mean, it's able to block the initial hit, but then while using Bubble Beam, it gets hit by the second one, and that's a pretty easy victory. This was one of the first major battles that was just a complete joke. And now we're at rank V. We have to go and chase Zygarde, but I'm not going to show you that because it's not important. What is important is when it leads us to this roof, we actually have to use a Lucario here, so you can't do a pure solo run of anything but Lucario, but it's a forced battle. And this is where you're going to see the boss mechanic. Yes, the bosses in this game are not trainers, but really big mega Pokemon. Rogue Mega Absol. And the way these rogue battles work is that the Pokemon both attack your Pokemon, but also, if you can see, they attack me. Now, what you're supposed to do, and what I'm doing here, is attacking it. It doesn't do very much damage, even though I'm at a higher level. But eventually, I'm going to collect enough of these Mega Orbs to Mega Evolve my Lucario, and now you can see how much more damage. Because Rogue Mega Pokemon are weak to Mega Pokemon. I mean, it's the way the game's programmed. That's just how it works. Unfortunately, for those of you who are unaware, Kakuna's not going to be able to Mega Evolve, and this is just the tutorial battle. I actually lost, by the way. The game works like a classic action game where you lose health slowly, and if you get hit too much, you just faint. So that's cool, but this isn't even our Kakuna, so it doesn't count. No, Kakuna has to battle Tawny, who is fine. I mean, we're so over-leveled that Kakuna, it's not like it just wins automatically. Wait, is it gonna win at all? Wait, holy mackerel. Oh, we just lost. Okay, can I forfeit? If I hold minus, I think I can forfeit. Will it just let me battle again? Oh, I can just lose the battle. Neat. Anyway, okay, so I guess I'm a little overconfident. Never mind. That's a problem. But hey, at least the game let me progress, so it's fine. Everything's good. Now, if you were wondering if I actually had to do 26 ranked matches, I don't. Once you're in rank V, this guy Vinnie wants you to take care of the rogue megas, but you need to prove that you can do it by beating him in a battle, which will promote you all the way to rank F. Unfortunately, as you might expect, Vinnie's no pushover. I spent a literal hour preparing for this battle, and the first Pokemon he uses is Houndoom. Interestingly, it starts with Fire Spin, and I think y'all can see what's going on here. My leaving moves on the field to do constant damage strategy is being used against me. No, Vinnie, how could you? I feel betrayed. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't ready for that, and I have to reset because I forgot to deposit all my Pokemon. Trying again, now knowing that's Vinnie's strategy, can I stop him? Sort of. What I have to do is manipulate Kakuna's position by running. See, Kakuna will follow me. Actually, Roar kind of helps. Sadly, this will... I'm trying to avoid that Fire Fang. This will make... Oh, gosh. All right, come on, Kakuna. Run away, run away. Actually, hold up. There is something I theoretically... But it wouldn't actually be that helpful. I could just withdraw Kakuna, but I don't really see the point. Anyway, I probably need to level up quite a bit in order to make Houndoom not hit me as much. But this time, I actually don't necessarily have to do more research. I have 10 rare candies. I can just use them, and now I'm at level 66. Surely that's going to be enough to beat Vinnie, right? Well, no. I mean, it helps, certainly. And you can see I'm desperately trying to get Kakuna to move, avoid the boundaries of the Fire Spin while trying to keep Houndoom in the boundaries, and it just survives on 1 HP. It sucks. I am also limited by the amount of held items that are available to me. Most of them aren't available till later. Also, you can note that Sharpedo doesn't get damaged right away, but I do basically knock it out in one hit, which is pretty cool. Now we can finally see the third Pokemon. A Baneri. Okay, well, that's actually not a bad Pokemon at all. Go for Electro Web. It didn't last long enough, the second one, but here it is. It went Quick Attack, and yeah, right back in the Electro Web. What is the final Pokemon? Drampa. So this is I believe, Gen 7 Pokemon, if I recall correctly. And in this game, it can Mega Evolve, and it's Dragon type. So, and it knows Safeguard, so I can't poison it. Okay, well, that's fantastic. Yeah. All right, well... GG. I get better at dodging, so I make it to Drampa with 55 HP. But you can see, I just can't deal enough damage to this thing. Like, I do not bad. Well, I guess it's pretty bad. It's a quarter, but we need to level up. We don't have a great matchup. And remember, I'm supposed to be using 4 attacks in multiple Pokemon. The way this game is supposed to be played... Actually, can I show you my battle against Vinnie with my actual team? I have it. I think it's important to see what this game is supposed to look like, because if you've never seen it before, you're supposed to be switching Pokemon all the time. Just going back and forth. Actually, I don't even do that in this battle much. I just go right from Feraligatr to Pidgeot. But you can see with a team of properly leveled Pokemon, the battle is kind of a complete joke. I am 100% not playing the game the way the game is meant to be played. But I am improving both in terms of leveling up and in terms of strategy. So you can see I've gotten as good as I can get trying to get Kakuna out of the Fire Spin as quick as possible. I sadly just can't avoid the Fire Fang yet, but it's all right. At least now against Sharpedo, I one-shot with Electro Web, and the Whirlpool does way less damage. We can also pretty much just two-shot Baneri, which is also really nice, meaning we have 82 HP for Drampa, and that gives me many more opportunities to use Electro Web. I can kind of keep it still. I also have a Citrus Berry. I don't mind being paralyzed. I just kind of need to keep it steady and have my Electro Webs rack up damage. I'm chipping away with Poison Sting and Electro Web, and in this battle of attrition, Mega Drampa is no match for my Mega Kakuna. And I have made it all the way to rank F. Hooray! But this is where I actually started to get worried, because while I knew I had the skill to get past normal Pokemon battles, I wasn't sure how I could tackle the Rogue Megas you guys saw with just Kakuna. And it's at this point in the game that 3 Rogue Megas become available. I can tackle them in any order, but I do need to beat all of them. The easiest one I thought would be Rogue Mega Slowbro, because Electro Web is super effective. And this is where I actually started to learn even more things about the game. Okay, we're gonna have to speed this up because this takes forever. Again, you're supposed to use Mega Pokemon. The whole battle, the orbs, everything is designed around it. But there is something else I can kind of do. Sadly, the Mega Pokemon can't be poisoned. But one thing that's important to note is that the Mega Pokemon typically will target you and not your Pokemon. And that's huge because I have gotten, with all those colorful screws, all of the green plushes, meaning I have the max amount of HP. Again, like in an action game, it's invisible, but you can see the kind of background getting redder. I mean, it's hard to see in this actual environment, but it's happening. Also, Electro Web still does just stack damage, which is kind of nice. I do wish I could poison Rogue Mega Slowbro, but I can do something kind of cool. You see, you don't actually learn about this yet, but you see beside Poison Sting, there's a bit of a C+. Well, those are plus moves. And in the bottom right, you'll see my Mega Meter. Now, that meter is supposed to be for Mega Evolving Pokemon, but it's also for using plus moves. And these moves, like Mega Pokemon, do more damage. In fact, I think it's just the plus moves that do more damage, and when you Mega Evolve, all your moves are plus moves. Now, you'll see that eventually, I succumb to Mega Slowbro's Waterfall attack. Who knows? But here's something kind of cool. The game doesn't actually make me have to start again. I can actually choose to continue where I left off. Sort of. You see, this is the same way things worked in Legends Arceus, where in these boss battles, there are these invisible checkpoints. Usually every quarter or at half and at several other points. You can see here, it's at the half. So my Kakuna is fully healed, I'm fully healed, and I don't need to beat this in one health bar. So long as I get it to the next checkpoint, I don't have to worry about me losing all my health, or more importantly, Kakuna. Although as you can see, other than this waterfall attack, it's not attacking Kakuna very much. By the way, something you can do is you can just withdraw your Pokemon by pressing the down button. There's nothing against doing that. And if you notice that the rogue Pokemon is going to charge an attack, then just withdraw. Also, it's not a bad idea if you're low in health to just kind of lay back and just take your time. Your health, like an action game, just regenerates slowly. So just don't get hit for a little while and eventually you'll be fine. This actually went a lot better than I thought it did. That said, it took over 4 minutes. Thank goodness the power of editing, you guys could see a sped up version. These are long battles, and this was by far the quickest because Electro Web was super effective. The next 2 Pokemon were not going to be as lucky, because Victory Bell is the second easiest. It is neutral against Poison Sting, but resists Electro Web. You'll also notice that Electro Web cannot be plussed. The reason for this is that I haven't unlocked the person in the overworld that will do that for me. But I can theoretically do it. Victory Bell is also a lot better at attacking me than Slowbro was. I have to be a little bit more agile. And yet, I'm still doing pretty decent. The plus Poison Stings aren't bad. I mean, I'm at level 80, so I would expect me to be doing okay. Honestly, I find Victory Bell, of the 3 Pokemon we tackled, one of the easiest to avoid. That said, I still messed up and fainted. But you can see here, I barely lost any progress. I was able to continue from 3/4 in, and after about 6 grueling minutes, I can't believe how long these take. Literally 6 minutes, by the way, I beat Mega Victory Bell. But there is one more. I was worried about this one. It's Mega Camerupt. We've gone from Electro Web being super effective to not very effective to not usable, and sadly, Poison Sting is resisted. So how am I gonna win? Well, at first, I actually lost really quickly, but it's because I played this really badly. It's easy to telegraph Mega Camerupt's attacks, and I need to be able to protect my Kakuna. Sometimes, if it's going for like the Lava Plume attack, I need to make sure that my Kakuna is in the ball, and when it uses Earth Power, I need to just make sure Kakuna is out of range. This is really important, but all we need to do, remember, is to get to the next checkpoint. I know that half is a checkpoint, and it turns out so is a quarter. So I just kind of need to slowly whittle its health away. Now, other things we should be talking about is, although these orbs I'm collecting, if you can see, they're supposed to be for Mega Evolving, that's partially what charges up my Mega Meter. The other thing that charges it up is just using standard non-plus moves. So between those two things, I'm actually making decent progress. I still lose Kakuna, which requires me to start at the next checkpoint, but the game lets you restart as many times as you want, and with Mega Camerupt, while I did need to restart twice, it took almost 20 minutes. Literally 20 minutes. But hey, we did it, and this is going to be one of the toughest Megas we have to beat. No Electro Web, no Electro Web Plus move, and resists Poison Sting. If we can do this, maybe we really do have this. But now that we've dealt with the Rogue Megas, it's time for the promotion match. This one against Canary, who knows. I actually really hate this section. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but it is basically just an extremely long, boring cutscene from my perspective. But it's not too hard to get the questions right and to get your battle against Canary. But first, you have to battle her grandfather, who actually is controlling the Canary hologram. What a twist. But speaking of twists, Tarragon, as his name might suggest, likes ground Pokemon. And Kakuna isn't especially great against ground Pokemon. We get Stealth Rocked, which, funny enough, is another one of those moves that just kind of stays in place. Thankfully, it's really easy to avoid. You can see I've upgraded Harden for Iron Defense, which is pretty cool. I need to really make sure I stay out of these Stealth Rocks because I'm weak to them. This takes a really long time to knock out Hippowdon, but so far so good, right? Well, the next Pokemon is Diggersby, and it knocks me out, which is really bad. But hey, just train up Pokemon. You'll win, right? I wish I would have remembered this when I started this run. I really thought we could do this. But after you beat Diggersby, the next Pokemon you have to face is Excadrill. And Excadrill has the perfect type combination to end this run. And I don't mean because it's too hard. I don't mean because it's unlikely. I mean, this is just like Kakuna in Generation 1. This is a theoretically impossible solo challenge, with or without items. Because, as it turns out, Kakuna can only legitimately learn Poison Sting and Electro Web, and neither of those moves hit Diggersby. But hold on, J-Rose, what about Struggle? This game doesn't have power points. It doesn't work that way. There is no struggle. Moves just have recharge. If we allow trading with other games, theoretically we could do it in a couple of ways. One would be utilizing the Rocky Helmet, which is inaccessible until the late game, and the other would be using the DLC. There is an additional move Kakuna can learn, Facade. I actually haven't even made it far enough in the DLC in order to get that TM yet, but that would require breaking a key rule, which is to just use one save file, one game. Allowing trading, in my opinion, is just really not within the spirit of this challenge. And therefore, I have to declare this one theoretically impossible. I mean, as of time of this voiceover, I haven't even tried it yet, but knowing me, I'm gonna want to show it off what it would look like with both Facade and the Rocky Helmet. But again, there's a reason those things are locked to the post-game. And honestly, even if I were to win at this point, it wouldn't even feel like a real victory. I mean, I could just trade in rare candies. There's just so many things you can do when you allow trading. It just nullifies the challenge for me. And thus, this is where this run has to end. But it's not my last time playing ZA, because there is another Pokemon, one you all know and love, that may in fact be able to do this. I'm not sure, because there is something terrible that happens earlier in the run, but perhaps later this year, we'll be going up, 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 and Carpe Golden. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.